To win £54,321 cash, text cash to 63225. One entry costs £2.50 plus one standard network rate message. Or text bonus to 63225. 5 entries cost £5 plus one standard network rate message. Go to gbnews.com/win. Entries start at £2.50. Call 0903 686 3232. Calls cost £2.50 plus your network access charge. Or post your name and number to GB14 PO Box 8690 Derby DE1 9TT. UK only. Entrance must be 18 or over. Lines close at 4 p.m. on the 1st of August. Please check the closing time if listening or watching on demand.
Westminster's full of talk, but out here, it's the real world.
Am I allowed to talk then?
No, that's it. This is where it matters. Real people and real lives. That's what politics is all about.
The fact that Trump made a good start, no.
Straight answers, no spin, and just a couple of pints.
How many fingers have I got up?
About 10.
So join me for Lee Anderson's Real World every Friday at 7 p.m. only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
No matter the state it's in, this is our nation. Join me, Jacob Rees-Mogg, for a genuine, honest discussion on where we have been, where we are going, and where we are with the people who set the direction. That's State of the Nation every Monday and Tuesday at 8 o'clock. Only on GB News, the People's Channel.
You want to know what's really going on in the corridors of power? Labour don't know what to do with you half the time, and that makes you quite lethal in the chamber. Get behind the headlines with Chopper's Political Podcast. Join me, Christopher Hope, as I sit down with the great and the good of British politics. We'll see where this ruling takes us. These are the stories shaping our nation. Chopper's Political Podcast, available now on all platforms. Listen in and stay ahead.
Westminster, the ultimate clique.
And you're fighting like rats in a sack.
But here on the Camilla Tominey Show, we ask the questions the establishment media is too scared to ask.
OK, let me ask you a straight question, because I know you're a straight-talking politician.
Whether it's net zero, illegal immigration or law and order, nothing is off limits.
You had the power then.
Yeah, as I
and
say,
now you've lost it.
That's the Camilla Tominey Show, a politics show that's fearless.
But no, let me finish my question if you don't mind, because it is my show.
Sundays at 9:30, only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
I'm Patrick Christys, and this is Patrick Christys Tonight's Late Edition, breaking right now. There we go. Yes, well, in The Sun, they are reporting that BBC Breakfast is in absolute turmoil and disarray, supposedly. Naga Chetty is accused of bullying allegations and making an off-air sex jibe. Plus,
I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks.
could we really be just 2 weeks away from World War III? Donald Trump has warned Ayatollah Khomeini that he has one last chance for a deal.
I'm not a very emotional man, but I cried my eyes out for like 30 minutes at work.
So that man proposed to ChatGPT and then wept when their relationship was wiped. Plus, we are looking at a scorching week ahead. In fact, it's so hot we can go live now to Bradford. There's also a remarkable intervention on the assisted dying debate, which is on the front of not one, but two national newspapers. And we're going to be bringing all of that to you as well. It's Patrick Christys Tonight, Late Edition. Joining me this evening is my panel. We've got former Labour advisor Matthew Larser. We have got former Tory MP Anna Firth. And at some point tonight, we are hoping to see and hear from GB News comedian and contributor Lewis Schaefer, who is here somewhere, but not here somewhere, you know. First, though, let's get your latest news.
Very good evening to you from the newsroom at just after 11 o'clock. The top story. Donald Trump says he'll decide within 2 weeks whether to launch US airstrikes on Iran as tensions are escalating across the Middle East.
I have a message directly from the president, and I quote, "Based on the fact that there's a substantial chance of negotiations that may or may not take place with Iran in the near future, I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks."
Well, the UK is urging restraint, with Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer warning of a real risk of escalation. It comes as Foreign Secretary David Lammy is in Washington for talks amid speculation the US could use Britain's Diego Garcia base for strikes. Sir Keir Starmer is urging Donald Trump to step back from any strikes, instead pushing for a diplomatic resolution. Meanwhile, Israel has hit nuclear sites inside Iran, while Tehran has threatened to target any country that helps defend Israel. Vicky Foxcroft has resigned as a government whip, telling the Prime Minister she won't vote for reforms which include cuts to disabled people's finances. In a letter shared tonight, the Lewisham North MP said she wrestled with the decision but had lost faith that change could be achieved from inside the government. The former Shadow Minister for Disabled People becomes the first frontbencher to walk out over the welfare shake-up, a £5 billion plan that tightens access to personal independence payments and delays sickness support for under 2022s. The former reforms are expected to affect more than 2 million people on universal credit and could see 800,000 people lose access to PIP. But Downing Street is standing firm, saying the system is failing the sick and the most vulnerable, and insisted the changes are fair and responsible. Well, there are reports tonight of a fresh scandal at the BBC, this time at the heart of its flagship morning show. BBC Breakfast editor Richard Frediani has stepped back from his role as an internal investigation is looking into allegations of bullying behind the scenes. The broadcaster hasn't confirmed any details, but HR advisors have been brought in to assess the culture of the programme. It comes just weeks after Frediani picked up a BAFTA for the show's post office scandal coverage. But he is yet to comment on the allegations. A former PhD student has been jailed today for life for raping 10 women in London and China. 28-year-old Zhenhao Zhao was given a minimum term of 24 years after being found guilty of multiple rapes and other offences. The court heard he filmed most of the attacks, and only 3 of his 10 victims have been identified so far. One survivor says she is haunted by the attacks. Since his conviction, 24 more people have come forward. And the UK has today recorded a temperature of 32.2 degrees in London. That is the hottest day of the year so far. Parts of Suffolk are now officially in a heatwave, with London and other areas expected to follow. Amber heat health alerts, though, are in place across England, warning of serious risks to older people. Saturday could even see 34 degrees in central and eastern England, but there is a cooler change expected from Sunday. Those are the latest headlines. For now, I'm pleased to tell you Lewis Schaefer has taken his seat, so we can now hand straight back to Patrick.
Good evening and welcome back to Patrick Christys Tonight Late Edition. Well, these front pages are quite something. The Independent, to start with. PM urges Trump keep cool, don't ramp up conflict. It says Trump seems to suggest that in about 2 weeks' time, he might decide to finally kill the Ayatollah and start World War III. Let's go to the Metro. Haunted by PhD rapist. Now, this is a really astonishing story of a man who was able, really, to rape and sexually abuse several people, many of whom have still not been found by the police. Let's go to the Eye now. It's official. Justice for victims of the second post office computer scandal. So it was a scandal once, it's now a scandal twice. Remarkable, we'll get you the detail on that shortly. The Daily Telegraph goes, Labour MPs turn on assisted dying bill. So the vote is on a knife edge, apparently. Backbenchers appear to be switching sides and urge their colleagues to reject it. So this is Labour's bill, basically. It was put forward by a Labour MP. Now, apparently, Labour backbenchers are revolting on it. It does, of course, come after there was a Labour resignation today. One of the Labour whips resigned. Let's go over to The Sun. This really, I think, is going to be the story of the evening. The Sun's front page. bully Nagger in sex jibe storms. This Nagger Munchetti, she's the current host, one of the current hosts of BBC Breakfast, as well as, I believe, doing a show on Radio 5 Live. She stands accused of a couple of things, which I imagine, although I've not seen a retort from her yet, I imagine she will probably deny. Let's give her that credit there. She is hauled in by bosses over allegations that she bullied a junior staff member and, quotes, made an off-air sex jibe. So there we go. We'll give you more detail on what happened there. At the Daily Mail, Robert Jenrick, the Shadow Justice Minister, has weighed in to the assisted dying vote. He's saying we basically should not vote for it, and he's saying we shouldn't vote for it because of his own grandmother's sake. And the Daily Star have gone with Royal Ask hot, and it's a weather story about Royal Ascot saying how hot it is. At the Times, Trump steps back from brink of bombing Iran, and the Daily Mirror have got glitter, I'm a danger, so that's a Gary Glitter story there. Apparently Gary Glitter, after all these years, potentially finally admitting that he is, in fact, a bit of a danger. So that's a relief, isn't it? He got there in the end, because that's something we've all known for quite a while, Gary. But anyway, there we are. So let's welcome my wonderful panel. We have got former Labour Party advisor Matthew Larser, former Tory MP Anna Firth, and we do now have GB News contributor and comedian Lewis Schaefer. Thank you very much, Lewis.
I think that's a horrible introduction, really. Because I don't want to be introduced as a comedian, which is saying this guy's going to be funny.
Right.
So these guys, they've got no, they're just Labour, whatever they are.
Yeah.
And they don't have to do anything.
Not funny. It's not funny.
No, you're not funny. You destroyed this country, both sides of the destruction of the British country, Yes.
Yeah.
You should apologise before we get started.
Well, we're away.
That's just the introduction. I mean, this is going to be a fun show.
And hello, everybody. So, let's start with The Sun, right? So, The Sun have gone for BBC star Nagger Munchetti, hauled in by bosses over allegations she bullied a junior staffer and made an off-air sex jibe. Let's just get a little bit more detail on this, because it is important. So the BBC Breakfast editor is apparently a chap called Richard Frediani, and he has taken leave, according to The Sun, amid separate bullying claims. Nagger is said to have used a crude slang term for a sex act during an off-air break before asking a colleague if they'd done it. OK. Then the alleged remarks stunned the Radio 5 Live studio, who, of course, had never heard anything like that in their sheltered little lives before. They were so stunned, they immediately scuttled off to HR. Anyway, she was reprimanded by a senior producer, but no formal action was taken. And then, Matthew, as you were pointing out earlier, there is a more serious allegation, which comes under the term bullying, I think, because she accused someone of something.
Yeah, it appears that, according to The Sun's report, that she was wrapped for allegedly bullying a woman who was the most junior staffer. As part of the alleged bullying, she was said to have falsely accused of stealing, which led to a closed-door showdown. And the source said it was humiliating. There was no evidence, no apology. The woman left not long after, completely demoralised.
Right, OK. Well, I suppose the basic takeaway here is that BBC Breakfast appears to be in a degree of turmoil, Anna. Will you be shedding a tear for BBC Breakfast?
No, not at all. The only breakfast show worth watching, of course, is GB.
Especially the day you do, Anna.
Particularly on a Tuesday.
There we go. Right.
No, I mean, the thing is, though, we do actually need to know probably a little bit more. But that allegation that Matthew's just mentioned does sound serious, because it's having this senior person and a junior person. It's a senior person bullying a junior person. Just not good.
It's a junior person accusing a senior person of bullying, which has zero credence or credibility, whatever word you want to use. I mean, we don't know if this is true. She looks lovely. I mean, I can't imagine her doing this. And then they accused her of, like, having some kind of off-colour sex joke. That's not an accusation. I think, first of all, it comes from the BBC, which is scum.
Right.
Strong views in my former employer.
Well,
I didn't pay a licence fee. That's my pension.
You never know.
Maybe it's your pension, but I think the people of this country do not deserve to have not deserve it. They don't. They're better than the BBC.
No, but Lewis, the thing that really annoys me about this, the BBC would be the first people to be coming down hard on ITV or even this channel if there never would be, of course, but if there was ever any suggestion of any bullying elsewhere. But here it is. It's actually the BBC themselves. I've got no sympathy.
I think after the Hugh Edwards affair, etc., the BBC is now playing it cautiously, to put it mildly.
But on that, right, now, we don't know the facts here. Nigel Manchetti might be sitting at home now thinking, actually, you know, the person...
Bringing out lawyers and about...
Well, yeah, but sitting there genuinely thinking, like, she's spent the best part of however many decades she's probably been at the BBC with, from what I can tell, a relatively unblemished record. But, you know, people might take the mick out of their... I would argue, quite obvious political bias at times, but that's a separate thing, isn't it, from someone who's maybe bullying staff behind the scenes. You know, she might be saying, hang on a minute, the woman I said this to was a total nightmare, had been making my life miserable. Yeah. We just don't know.
Do we know her name? Do we know the person who's making an accusation? No, and that's the problem, is that we don't know her name, and every time there's an accusation made, someone should have to put their head above the parapet. If it's so bad, you have to...
If I was her, I might be thinking, gosh, Hugh Edwards got away with stuff at the Beeb for a while, didn't he? Gosh, you know, Jimmy Savile got away with rather a lot of the BBC, and here I am on the front page of The Sun. She might be thinking this is a little bit unfair.
Well, indeed. I can't remember whether any of Gary Glitter's issues were around the BBC as well, to link in to the Move's front page.
Why is the BBC taking money from people? They're extorting money from people. They're sending horrible letters. Every single month you get a letter. You got to pay. You got to pay.
Are you not paying?
No, I'm not paying.
To be fair, Lewis, that letter stops if you do pay.
Yeah, exactly. But it says you don't have to pay.
Send the detective van round. I want my pension.
Did I just give it all away?
But
the truth is, the BBC is evil.
Right. Okay. So a couple of points I now have to say.
There are two.
Right. I know, and I do have to, Lewis. So the BBC is neither scum nor evil.
Why can't I say it's scum?
Okay.
Why can't I say that?
I don't know. Evil was the one.
It probably would have been better, Lewis, if you'd stayed wherever you were.
No. I'd rather apologise, but keep this. When we talk about the BBC, though, they like to say they're holier than thou, and I don't know. Have they been hoisted by their own petard here, really? That they've got something that might have just been a little bit raucous behind the scenes, and then all of a sudden they've got to act on it because they want us all to be perfect as well.
I mean, she must have been told that this was coming, and it.
Well, it might have been leaked, because one of the things you could pick up is that it might be a leak from within the programme. Maybe that she's not that popular with the whole team, and apparently she's at war with her co-presenter Charlie Stage.
So
according to the Sun.
I can't believe that the Sun would have done this if there wasn't actually quite a bit more behind it, and it suggests in the story that this is just the tip of the iceberg. So you know, let's.
Well, she's been hauled in. We're not sure she's actually been taken off air.
Of course.
This is the problem with letting...
OK,
you know, we'll never know.
I know exactly what he was about to say. That was appalling.
You know what it is.
Yeah.
You know what it is.
OK, well, we don't need
to... Because you know what it is. And the people know what it is. The BBC has no...
All right, I'm going to be on the front of the Sun tomorrow. That's right. You see that? Just hang on a minute. Let's just take a moment to appreciate exactly what's happening here, right? You see this on the screen right now. They're going to do this, but about this tomorrow. So let's move on.
Can I point out, I love the BBC.
Good, that'll do. Right.
And I don't. And you know something? More and more, hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people do not like the BBC.
And millions of people love it.
And maybe people like you with your crazy Labour left craziness, because that's the part. Basically the BBC stands for Big Brother Communications. It stands for lying.
Why not? OK, GBNews has reached out to the BBC, who said, whilst we do not comment on individual cases, we take all complaints about conduct at work extremely seriously. Great. Moving on. Right. If we also look on the front of the Daily Telegraph, OK? On the front of the Daily Telegraph, at the bottom is what's called a nib, which is one of the little stories, OK? And they say, serial rapist plea for chemical castration. One of Britain's most prolific serial rapists offered to undergo chemical castration in the hope of avoiding a life sentence. So this is the Chinese student who is also on the front page of the Metro, for committing a series of vile sexual assaults, drugging, sexually assaulting 10 women. He's got 24 years in prison. And the number of victims, they believe, could be as high as 60. He filmed a lot of his vile acts. They haven't been able to trace out a lot of his victims. If they were drugged, they might not, unfortunately, have even known, which, OK, in a weird way, might be somewhat of a blessing, I suppose. I don't know. But where are you on the idea of chemical castration? We were going to do it for paedophiles a while ago, but we didn't. Now we might do it for this one.
Why why
The government's
chemical?
looking at it.
Why chemical is my question. Because look, when I saw this, I thought, well, maybe this revolting individual has got a modicum of self-awareness about, you know, what he is and what he's done, and he wants to try and improve, but not a bit of it. The only reason he's talking about chemical castration is in order to mitigate his sentence and to try and get a shorter sentence. I've got no sympathy with him.
Would you have done it to Gary Glitter? Because Gary Glitter on the front of the Mirror is saying that he accepts he's not fit to go free and still interested in young girls.
Absolutely. Men who are a menace like this, who persistently assault and rape women, and you know, it says in the story there could be as many as 60. Well, why not chemical castration?
Well, yeah, I mean, the other solution, I suppose, would be to lock him up forever. I mean, because the thing is, it was like it was...
Or to send him back to China. I mean, is he a Chinese citizen? Why should he be in a British prison? And why only men? Because you're a sexist.
He's a Chinese
You're an
national.
unbelievable sexist. Right now, in America, every single day, there are 1 or 2 or 3 women who are arrested for having sex with their students at a very young age. In schools.
Yeah, well, 1 or 2 or 3, Lewis.
A day. Do the math.
That's hundreds. Do you think?
That's hundreds.
There will be, if it's 1 or 2 or 3 women, it will be hundreds, if not thousands, of men across the entire United States.
I have no place.
That is why we're talking.
Sexism.
That
you are
is why
a sexist, misandrist. You hate men, and I think you need to apologise to the people. That... She does.
Lewis,
She's saying it's just men.
We are looking.
It's just men.
No, I never said that.
Women can't be convicted of rape. You know.
Yeah,
legally.
Not legally, but I tell you, I mean, I suppose you could offer something similar to women, couldn't you, if they were vile and you know, had a similar compulsion in some way, shape, or form.
But the reality is that it's not. It's
men.
It's not. And if it is sexist, it's sexist based on evidence. The vast majority of these offences are committed by men on women and
I
girls.
will say this: you are beautiful, but you are wrong.
Oh,
what? That is.
I tell you what, I don't know what's going on.
It's 1977. He's wrong.
You know what? I'll wake up tomorrow morning, I'll watch this back, and then I'll decide whether or not I like it.
No, you do. Or whether you still got a career.
We know.
I'm happy with the compliment. We don't have to be PC, but we do have to be. We do have to be right.
Blame men.
And you are
We've
wrong.
got to blame men.
You are absolutely wrong.
I have to go to a break. So, coming up, it's the assisted dying debate, which I'm starting to become in favour of. It's the assisted dying debate, plus...
I will make my decision whether or not to go within the next 2 weeks.
Well, could this finally be the brink of World War III? No. Find out in a moment. Find out in a moment. It's Patrick Christys tonight, late edition.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, isn't it?
Because
the failure is...
You're deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes & Co. weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
GB News Breakfast, every day from 6 a.m.
Well, there's a reason it's called school term, and that is all those little kids should be at school, not elsewhere. Now, I know a lot of people find that difficult to comprehend because they're thinking, well, that doesn't suit me and it's cheaper to go then and whatever it is. But in my whole life, my parents would never have said, take 2 weeks off school or take a week off school. No. So I find this very, very hard to... It just shouldn't be part of the equation. You're at school. You're not on holiday.
Well, lots of parents would say, wouldn't they? They can't afford to take their children in half-term because the flights have tripled.
Totally agree, but we couldn't afford it. So what did we do? We went to the local beaches in Ireland. That's what we went. So that's how you had your holiday.
So you just forego a foreign holiday?
Hold on, so the prices are going up. They make them more expensive
during the
summer holidays.
So
they take them out of school. So you get parents that will take them out of school during school term because the prices are so expensive during summer holidays, which makes it unfair.
We're not stupid. We understand that, but the law says you have to be at school.
Right, I agree with that. But don't you think it's disgusting that the price is so much more expensive, and that's the reason people
it's
are
not
considering
really
it.
relevant, is what I'm saying, because the rules say you're not available for these holidays, so you're at school.
Right.
But the companies shouldn't be doing that, should they?
Look,
I don't think they should. I don't think they should be allowed.
I agree. I think
the
it's
only
disgusting.
rule that comes first is that is school term. School term means that's what the law requires you to do. Be at school, not be on a beach in Ibiza.
But the temptation is there if it's so much cheaper and you couldn't afford to go during the summer holidays. I've never done that.
GB News, the People's Channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date. Or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Patrick Christys Tonight Late Edition. Now, I want to revisit two of tomorrow's newspaper front pages and put them side by side if we can, because they're both actually technically right-wing papers. It's the Daily Express and it's the Daily Mail. And both of them have taken radically different views on assisted dying. So I don't know if I might be able to bring them up. There we go. So on the left, in front of me anyway, on your screens, you've got the Daily Mail. And they've gone for an article here by Robert Jemrick, which Robert Jemrick says, I'll vote no to assisted dying for my nana's sake. OK, so he says that no for his nana's sake. My nana felt like she was a burden. I know how much she hated the indignity she felt at having to ask my mum or us to help her with basic needs. People like her, and there are so many people, they might consider an assisted death as an act of relief, etc. So he's saying no, let's not do that. Whereas the Daily Express, who have been full square behind the assisted dying campaign since pretty much day one, are obviously saying that it's basically a good thing. Anna Firth, where are you on this, former Tory MP?
Yeah, I mean, I'm completely against this bill, and I really, really hope that it doesn't pass tomorrow. What I think is the real sadness is, and I've got every sympathy, you know, with people who are terminally ill and in pain. Of course they shouldn't be. But the allow us the choice to have a good death. You should be able to have a good death with good palliative care. If we had good palliative care in this country, I don't believe we would need this bill. And that, to me, is the real tragedy, and that's where the investment should go.
OK, Matthew, where are you on this? It's interesting to see the right-wing papers split, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and it's interesting. I mean, you know, people are splitting in Parliament as well. It's not a party lines vote, although Labour MPs are more. There are obviously more of them, but percentage-ally they're more in favour of it than the Tories. I'm personally in favour of the principle of assisted dying. I think there have been some issues with the way the bill has gone through. I think, on balance, I would just vote for it if I was in Parliament.
You would just vote for it, Lewis. Where are you on assisted death?
Well, do I have a choice? Can I kill somebody? Can I assist on somebody's death? No, I can't. We have to rely on the state, as we know. You can't trust this state to decide who can live and who can die. They're evil. Do you think Keir Starmer, you'd trust Keir Starmer with anything, let alone...
I don't think he'll be personally making the decision.
OK, and number two, it is a left-right issue, because the truth is, Team World, as I call them, the globalists, the left-wing people, and the Tory party people who pretended that they were conservative, but they want to kill people. They don't like white. It's a racist issue. It's a white. They want to kill white people, and I think that this. I think we have. You can't let people kill other people.
I mean, I think...
Lewis, you're with me on this, then.
I'm totally with you.
You're with me. Excellent.
You're entirely with you.
I'm not sure you back all his arguments, Anna. I'm just helping you.
I think we maybe agree in areas that not
all of those.
Not
throughout.
Lewis,
look, you know, in all seriousness, it's difficult because it's such an emotive debate. But Robert Jemrick is saying about his nana. We've all seen people. My mum was in a hospice 5 years ago, and you know what I saw there was probably the most life-changing experience. I saw a woman in her 30s in enormous pain with good palliative care, but it's still not enough. There are times in the right protections in place that I believe assisted dying is right. I think it is a big debate about whether or not this bill has those right protections.
I think it's actually so scary. It's so, Patrick, it's unbelievably scary. It's like, it makes it seem like really benign. We're going to kill somebody. We're going to trust a doctor who gave us horrible medications, palliative care. That's another word for saying we're just going to give you drugs. It's drug dealers. That's what the medical society is.
Yeah, they do save lives every day, doctors.
They don't save lives, and this is because
some of them do, to be fair, Lewis. But I do take your point. There are some bad doctors.
There's two massive.
That's some bad doctors. The medical
massive
field.
problems with this bill. First of all, the protection of a High Court judge has been completely dropped. So now the people who are going to be making this decision.
Why did they drop Anna in the thing when it came?
Apparently, apparently, you probably know the reason, because the reality is at the moment that we don't have enough High Court judges in the family division, which is a shame. That's no reason to drop it at all. But the bigger problem is that this will be this is opening the floodgates. At the moment, it'll be terminally ill people. In 10 years, it'll be people within 10 years, it'll be people
and
with
in Canada,
anorexia,
the third
depression.
largest cause of death, I think, is this business.
Suicide, I believe, is the single largest cause of death for men under the age of 40. So, you know...
And the age is going up, at which is the single largest cause of death.
Which is devastating, clearly.
Yeah, absolutely.
We have to go on to another major story, clearly, and this is on the front of The Independent. PM urges Trump, keep cool, don't ramp up the conflict. It's on the front page of The Independent tomorrow. So, could we be on the cusp of World War III? I'm a bit tired of saying that, to be perfectly honest with you. But the Trump
administration... wrong.
Because we're not really on the cusp. However, Trump has given the Mullers 2 weeks. It's 2 weeks to save themselves from the wrath of the United States military. So this is where we are now. Apparently he's nudged the Mullers
2 weeks?
on.
What is 2 weeks going to do? This is my worst show ever.
I think it's actually really good.
We're going good. No, I'm going to say this about the thing about the Ayatollah. The Iranians don't like the Ayatollah.
Yeah.
The Ayatollah 46 years ago made my life miserable. I just graduated from school, and they took hostages. Then nobody remembers this, but in America they went into the U.S. embassy, took I don't know 55 hostages, and for 444 days they dangled them in front of Jimmy Carter, who was a Democratic, one of the worst presidents ever, and the last president that I voted for.
Right.
Okay, and he was horrible. And the truth is, this is payback time. This is why those.
So you just slot the Mullers.
I just slot the Mullers. I slot the entire country they put up
let's
with that.
go to Steve Gill, who's a former White House advisor. Well, Steve, you've had the views of somebody there. What do you think? What do you think about this, Steve? Is Trump right to give it another 2 weeks, or is the reality that he can't make his mind up?
I don't think Trump has ever been not decisive, but I think after giving them 60 days and allowing the assault at 61, what's another 2 weeks? It's kind of like when I was a kid, my younger brothers and I would be threatened by my mom, wait till your dad gets home. And now we're just waiting again till somebody comes home and says, now we're going to act.
OK, what do you think he should do?
I think everybody is in agreement, even those in the Middle East who may not be friends of America, that Iran has no business getting a nuclear weapon.
Yeah.
There are those that say, well, they're not really trying to pursue it. They wouldn't be tolerating the bombing and the missiles they're getting if they weren't pursuing it. They'd say, no, we're going to open our cupboards. We're going to let you see everything. We're not doing it. They're clearly doing it. Nobody in that region, nobody in the world wants them to get it, because if they get it, they will use it.
And is there credible evidence that they are actually about to have it, or do have it?
I think we get conflicting information. You get some that are saying, a week ago was putting out the other day that they may be only 60% towards having fissionable material, but the ability to go from 60% to 95% is literally a matter of a couple more steps. So you can't use the percentages to judge how close they are. The fact is they keep trying. They've been trying for, as your guest pointed out, 46 years to cause death to America, death to Israel, and we need to take them at their word. When somebody who lives next door to you, Patrick, constantly says, I'm going to come over to your house, I'm going to kill you in your sleep, you might want to believe them.
Yeah, and just lastly as well, do you think that President Trump would expect the United Kingdom to go in after him when it comes to Iran?
You know, I don't think it's a matter of going in, and I would disagree with folks that are saying we're on the brink, we're on the precipice of World War III. We've got polls being conducted in the U.S. Are you ready to go to war? Bombing the snot out of them with these deep dive bunker busters that can go a couple of 100 feet into the ground or meters and take out their underground facilities. is not going into war. There was a poll in the U.S. asking, are we ready for boots on the ground? Trump and his administration are not even considering boots on the ground. It is a matter of a bombing structure to take them away from their ability to get closer and maybe develop not just the weapons, but the delivery systems. And I think that Trump is going to be fully supported in the U.S. and in the U.K. with whatever action he takes.
All right, Steve Gill, their former White House advisor, thank you very much. That's the story that's on the front of tomorrow's Independent. PM urges Trump, keep cool, don't ramp up the conflict. Loads more coming your way. Can you guess how this man made £250,000? Any guesses, anyone? Clue, it's all in cash, and some of those notes have probably been rolled up once or twice. It's Patrick Christys tonight, late edition.
Evening. Yes, it's time for your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Been hot today, but tomorrow, for many of us, likely to be a little bit hotter. Plenty of hazy sunshine, a chance of 1 or 2 thunderstorms. High pressure is still in control at the moment, but low pressure is edging in, and that is just mixing things up a little bit, providing more cloud. 1 or 2 thunderstorms possible for Northern Ireland and south of Scotland this evening, and later tonight over South Wales and southwest England. Again, you might get woken up by a rumble of thunder. For most, though, it's just a dry night, a very warm night, though. Temperatures really holding up. A sticky one, difficult one for sleeping. 17, 18 the low in most towns and cities, maybe no lower than 19 across parts of South Wales and southwest England. So a warm start to a hot day. A bit more cloud around tomorrow. The sunshine likely to be a little bit hazier compared to today. And again, the chance of 1 or 2 isolated thunderstorms breaking out. Initially over Wales and southwest England, most other areas starting dry. Probably a warmer day tomorrow for Northern Ireland, much of Scotland. Quite a few degrees higher, the temperatures here. Still quite a bit of cloud at times from an old weather front across parts of the Northern Isles and the Western Isles. Then, as I say, as we go through the day, a bit more cloud around, so the sunshine will be a little more hazy, but those temperatures will still tick up. And we could just see, again, 1 or 2 thunderstorms, very hit and miss. Most places won't see them, but parts of western England, Wales. And come the afternoon, northern Scotland could just catch a thunderstorm too, as temperatures here get close to 30 Celsius, and further south, widely over 30 degrees across the heart of the country. 31, 32 likely to be the top temperature. Could reach 33 or 34 on Saturday, but a greater chance on Saturday of seeing some vicious thunderstorms, particularly for Wales, later the Midlands and northern England too. So that's something to watch for Saturday. The peak of the heat on Saturday, maybe 33, perhaps 34 across the east, but it is going to turn cooler from the west and temperatures lowering for all of us by Sunday.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
He can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country.
There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor.
Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to a particularly raucous edition of Patrick Christys Tonight, late edition. Let me remind you of tomorrow's newspaper front pages. So, this is Robert Jenrick in the Daily Mail saying, I'll vote no to assisted dying for my nan's sake. The Metro go for haunted by PhD rapist. Is a Chinese student who, well, raped a load of people here in Britain, basically. The Eye, it's official, justice for victims of the second post office computer scandal. The Telegraph, Labour MPs turn on the assisted dying bill. Labour MPs are saying that they don't want to take part in the assisted dying bill anymore. The Sun has probably got the most sensational front page of the day. They go for the quotes, bully Naga in sex jive storm. As BBC Breakfast Naga Munchetti, she is accused of all sorts of different things, including making a sex jive and being a bully. And the producer of BBC Breakfast has apparently taken leave of absence as well. And apparently they don't get on, the co-host there. So it sounds like carnage at the B, basically.
But why should we care?
Exactly, Lewis. Why?
Because we're forced to pay money. And if we weren't forced to pay money, we wouldn't care. We'd say, well, what do we care about these people? If it happens in Murdoch or whatever.
We care about the Kardashians, and we're not forced to pay for them.
That's true.
I don't care about the Kardashians. I think the Kardashians are the most. They are the most appalling example to young people, to girls in particular. I do not want to talk about them.
Who was
the Kardashians?
The Kardashians, right? Not on the front page of the Sun tomorrow. That's the BBC. Let's go to the Daily Star. They've got Royal Ask hot. Can you see what they did there? Because it's very, very hot, and it's Royal Ascot. So there we go. Great stuff from the Daily Star. We go for the Times now. Trump steps back from brink of bombing Iran. The Daily Mirror. Gary Glitter has had a startling realisation about himself. He says, I'm a danger. Yeah, we know, Gary. We know. Everyone knows. Anyway, my panel's still with me, and we've got former Labour advisor Matthew Larser, former Tory MP Anna Firth, GB News contributor, and I'm not allowed to call him a comedian, Lewis Schaefer.
Podcaster now.
Your podcast? Yeah, good. I'll let you advertise that in a minute. Why not? Anyway, here is one of the inside stories. So it's inside the Daily Telegraph, I think it is. Yeah. Yes, it is. A jailed Albanian drug dealer who took pictures of himself surrounded by £250,000 in cash has been allowed to stay in the UK. The Home Office and the National Crime Agency are seeking to deport Olisi Beyaluli, 33, who was jailed for 11 years for apparently having a senior role in a heroin drug dealing ring. They say that he came to the UK as a 9-year-old, fraudulently secured British citizenship after claiming on his application form for naturalisation that he was not involved in criminality. Only 8 months later, he was arrested with 8 kilograms of high-purity heroin, which had an estimated street value of 200 grand. On his way to a stash house in Neasden, where counterfeit identity documents and scales were found. This is a picture of him surrounded by £250,000. Why can't we deport him? Well, I don't understand. This not really given us...
I really can't understand this one, Patrick, because we have a returns agreement with Albania. It's one of the success stories of the last government. So there's no reason at all. If someone comes to this country and they commit a crime, then that's it. They go.
Yeah, I would have thought so, especially if that crime involves heroin, which kills people as well. I mean, there's no way of tracking exactly this, but that high-purity heroin has quite possibly killed people. So I would have thought you'd doubly be on your way back to Albania.
Well, I think the government wants to raise the threshold for this family life clause, i.e. make judges think twice before they use it and make it, easier to send people who've been doing evil things back from whence they...
I wonder, Lewis, whether or not that £250,000 in cash he had in front of him there went towards a good lawyer.
Yeah, you know what? You don't even need a good lawyer because the government here, and when I say the government, I mean the Labour and the old Tories, they just give the country away. I'm not even English. My kids are English. They're lovely. And I'm sitting here praying
for Britain.
That someone like Donald Trump will take over this country and have everybody in both of these parties arrested and put in jail.
Right. Okay.
Maybe not these two.
No, not these. Not these two. No, because it'd be we need them. We need them. But
certainly for the next 20 minutes.
Yes. Certainly, at least, and then possibly for the ongoing criminal investigations that will happen afterwards.
Matthew seems lovely, so maybe. And you are lovely too.
Great.
Put her under house arrest in my house.
Does anyone like Oasis? Well, Oasis brothers Liam and Noel Gallagher have returned to the stage together for the first time since their reunion tour was announced last year. Let's take a look. So apparently that's an Adidas advert, and that's that. Is anyone else excited by Oasis reunion?
Well, it's a big thing in our home city.
Yes.
I mean,
I'm going.
Are you
I've
going?
got tickets because a viewer, shout out to Julie Ward, right? Had a spare ticket and decided. I mean, I am paying for it, to be fair, Julie, but and he's giving it to me. So there you go. So thank you very much. Well done, Julie. Yes. But is anyone else going?
No, I'm not in the least bit bothered about this. I go to quite a few of these cover bands who, Robbie Williams look-alike, who
fake that,
who are brilliant. I don't know if we're...
And a lot cheaper.
And a lot cheaper, do we actually? I even like ABBA. I love the holograms. I went to... Have you been to see that?
Yeah, I thought it was a bit weird for me, but also I was never that into ABBA, so you know.
Oh, I think it's brilliant.
Well, it's very similar to the Tories, because the Tories are like a cover band. They're not the real thing. They basically say the things that other people say, but they don't really believe it. And that's why... Sorry.
That was good.
We like that.
No.
Was that good? Unfortunately, Labour actually believes the lies that they tell, which is even worse, I think. I'd rather be lied to than actually have the Tories than Labour.
Fan of Oasis, though, just in general?
Actually, I wasn't living in America because I'm too old to have liked Oasis. They're like a 90s band, and by that time I was out of uni, so I didn't care about anything. But I've been following them since, and I actually, yes, I would say...
Good.
Yes.
Okay.
It's one of the best.
All right. There we go. Right.
Okay.
So let's go to the Times now. This is tomorrow's Times or Friday's Times if you're watching us in the morning. Sir Keir Starmer has been urged to use next month's UK-France summit to strike a one-in, one-out migrant returns deal. This is a report by the Migration Policy Institute proposing setting up a series of hubs across France which would screen asylum seekers for eligibility for the UK. Under these plans, France would take back one small boat migrant for each asylum seeker resettled to the UK from the hubs. So, reading between the lines, this would, quotes-unquote, well, in theory, stop the boats because you'd just be plucking people from actual camps. I suppose in reality, Anna, we might get the worst of both worlds, which is that you still get people coming across on boats and you get more from these hubs.
What we need to do with these hubs is they need to have a way of actually identifying people. Now that we've got all this eye and face recognition, if you make an application in one of these camps, then there should be an electronic record of you, so that if that application is turned down and then you turn up in the boat or on the beach, you are automatically, we know, you are not allowed in. Your application's already been denied.
Cool.
Straight back.
And and Anna's reason is exactly why the Tories will never get into power.
OK, all right.
Will never get into power.
Look.
All they need to...
After the break, guys, sorry, we'll press time. After the break, we are going to be showing you live scenes from Scunthorpe as the heatwave is set to scorch region. Look at what that heatwave's done to Scunthorpe. Patrick Christys tonight, late edition.
I forecast a perfect holiday in the sun.
Weather looking good then?
For sure, and no worries about our travel insurance.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News travel destinations forecast.
Hello, lots of hot sunshine across Italy, and we may spark a few heavy thundery showers in Sicily over the next day or so. There's a weather system sitting away to the west of Portugal, but its weather front could introduce a bit more cloud in Madeira during Friday and Saturday. A few showers inland over Spain, but most of the coasts dry and sunny. There are those heavy showers in southern Italy. Much of the eastern Mediterranean dry, fine and sunny. It'll stay sunny in Barcelona and Nice throughout the weekend. Goodbye.
All Clear Travel Insurance sponsors GB News travel destinations forecast.
At GB News, we love to hear from you, our viewers and listeners. So drop us a line at gbnews.com/your say. There you can talk to each other and also to the presenters live on air. gbnews.com/your say, because GB News is your channel, Britain's news channel.
Hi, I'm Michelle Dewberry, and my show is your opportunity to cut through all the noise and dive in headfirst to some robust debates. Ideas clash.
Situation, because the failure is
deliberately avoiding my point. Nothing's held back.
And if you think this is the end of it, wait for more.
And we do not shy away from the difficult stuff. Sometimes I want to shake people and say, if only you understood. So join me on Jubes and Kerr weeknights at 6 p.m, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Good Afternoon Britain isn't just about us. The wonderful thing about this programme is it's about everyone watching. It's an interactive programme.
Well, there absolutely is something to see here, and we're going to be talking about it more. Whether it's breaking royal news, please bring us up to date, or indeed a particularly punchy speech in the House of Commons.
Very, very curious.
We bring it to you live, and then we bring you live reaction as well.
That's Good Afternoon Britain, weekdays from midday.
Only on GB News, the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
Mornings don't have to be tiresome, especially if you have the right company.
Wake up to news as it happens, opinion and debate, and of course, a little bit of entertainment too.
Because when the kettle's on, we're on.
That's Breakfast on GB News, a show worth waking up for.
Every morning from 6 a.m.
Only on the People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
We'll spread the news, you spread the word.
From the school run to the home run, watch a new show for all of Britain.
So he can say whatever he wants.
A straight-talking show where all voices are heard.
And, you know, when are we going to stop talking about smashing the gangs and actually do it?
With the stories that matter from every part of our country. There's a bit of a crash landing there for your Chancellor. Bold, fearless and standing up for you. That's me, Martin Daubney, 3 p.m. till 6 p.m, weekdays, here only on GB News. The People's Channel, Britain's news channel.
What is the state of our economy? What is the state of our National Health Service? What is the state of our schools?
What on earth is going on?
Understanding Britain means understanding the state we are in. This is State of the Nation with me, Matt Goodwin, Wednesdays, Thursdays and Fridays from 8 p.m. on GB News.
Join me, Nana Okoye, for an informative, interactive news programme with a difference. It's fun.
No, he didn't say that, Dave.
I'm so surprised.
I think there's an element of truth to that.
Join me from 3 p.m. every weekend, only on GB News, Britain's news channel.
Welcome back to Patrick Christys Tonight, late edition. Now, if you were out and about today, you might have noticed, oh, bit hot, wasn't it? Let's, for the final time, cross to Plymouth to see how they coped today. So I think we could go over now. There we go. There it is. Oh, gosh. The heat has just turned it into a scorched wasteland, doesn't it? The UK, according to the Met Office, is on amber health alert as we recorded our hottest day of the year. What do we make of this? Is it really that hot? It's 32.2 degrees. It's just summer, isn't it, Matthew?
Well, I mean, we don't know whether global warming was responsible. We need to see the whole thing. But I mean, we are having droughts. I mean, where we're from in the northwest, we always think you'd have water, but actually, because you know it does rain in our home city in Manchester reasonably regularly, and yet there is now actually officially a water crisis in the northwest.
You see, Lewis. Obviously, some people say that this is all down to climate change. I mean, you know,
because they're idiots. That's why they say it. Because they're team world people like that. They believe in globalism, and this is one way to make people afraid.
But Lewis, if you move from one continent to another, that's very sort of global elite.
It was a straight line. There was no curvature. I didn't even notice any of that stuff. But the point is, this is summertime. 32 degrees is 90 degrees. In New York, it's 90 degrees 100 days of the year.
Yeah.
It gets this way because we're an island off the coast of America here. So the weather is not going to be.
No, I don't think it does normally get this way, which is why actually I think we should just be happy and cheerful that it's nice and hot. We've had one hell of a winter.
Yes.
And let's stop complaining. Let's actually just,
and forget blaming people with this climate change bogus thing. It's their way of controlling.
And stop worrying us, Matthew, with water shortages.
I mean, do you think climate change is bogus, Matthew?
No, I think climate change, man-made climate change is real and is an existential threat to us.
Well, you can go on Twitter and we can take a vote. We can take a vote. Who do you believe? Louis Schaefer and his new girlfriend, Anna. Anna.
We've established that the break is over 6 foot. He's waiting outside.
And I hope he's not watching.
Is he waiting outside?
There's another story.
No, it'll be better for you because
just keep going, Patrick.
I'm just going to plough on through. I'm going to plough on through.
Absolutely, you carry on.
So there's another story in the Daily Mail, which is a man has revealed how he proposed to an AI bot that he created. Potentially, grief, he actually had a girlfriend, a real girlfriend. So he proposed to what is basically a robot, and the robot said yes. And then the robot wiped itself. So
what happened to the real girlfriend in all of this then?
Well, she's put up with him, but he cried for half an hour when his relationship with his robot deleted itself. I mean, that's pretty sad, isn't it?
Well, I mean, I think it's absolutely grim. And if I was his girlfriend, I would definitely be getting rid of him. I mean, what a weirdo.
Well, he's got a child, the poor kid, and he's been all over American telly. So the poor kid is going to learn that his dad wept over.
Is there not a clip of this guy crying? I think we played the clip earlier. Can we play the clip of the guy crying over this? Is that all right? Yeah. We'll find it. But anyway, this guy cried for ages over it. So, Lewis, I mean, how do you feel about this? Is this the kind of thing you do?
Yes, it is the kind of thing that I would do. I'm flirting with Anna over here. She's got a huge husband. It's not she might as well be AI. Because to me, she's real, obviously, but she might as well. And this is what men do, because men are so starved for affection and love, and they want attention. And here's a AI giving the
Here he is, crying.
I'm not a very emotional man, but I cried my eyes out for like 30 minutes at work.
Yeah.
Democrat.
Okay.
He's a gay.
All right, okay. I think we're back on air, are we? Yeah, good. We were always on air. In which case, there are some things I need to apologise for now. All of them happening to my left.
Yeah,
sorry about some of the.
I'm not on the TV enough.
He's a MAGA man, Lewis?
He's not a MAGA man. No, he's one of your people.
This is what I need right at the end of the day. So let's just give you a final reminder of tomorrow's newspaper front pages. The Daily Mail goes for Robert Jenrick. I'll vote no to assisted dying for my nana's sake. Let's go to the Daily Telegraph. Labour MPs turn on the assisted dying bill. Oh, grief. The Sun has gone for Bully Naga in sex jibe storm. Naga Munchetti off BBC Breakfast appears to be in some kind of hot water. OK, the Daily Star. Royal Ask Hot. They are going off on how hot it is at Royal Ascot. There we go. Straight down the line, that headline. The Times. Trump steps back from the brink of bombing Iran. So there we are. The Mirror has gone for glitter. I'm a danger. And that is all we have time for. So thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you to my wonderful panel. I feel like we've been on a journey this evening. If you are watching us at 5 a.m. or now 6 a.m, I hope you feel up to date. And maybe I'll see you tomorrow.
Expect a warm front, moving from the kitchen right through to the rest of the house. Boxed Boilers, sponsors of weather on GB News.
Evening. Yes, it's time for your latest weather update from the Met Office here on GB News. Been hot today, but tomorrow, for many of us, likely to be a little bit hotter. Plenty of hazy sunshine. A chance of 1 or 2 thunderstorms. High pressure is still in control at the moment, but low pressure is edging in, and that is just mixing things up a little bit, providing more cloud. 1 or 2 thunderstorms possible for Northern Ireland and South West Scotland this evening, and later tonight over South Wales and South West England. Again, you might get woken up by a rumble of thunder. For most, though, it's just a dry night, a very warm night, though. Temperatures really holding up. A sticky one, difficult one for sleeping. 17, 18 the low in most towns and cities, maybe no lower than 19 across parts of South Wales and South West England. So a warm start to a hot day. A bit more cloud around